Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Julia with her movie, The Devil's Plot. Let's take a look at the clip.
Deseo darte felices años aquí. Que sea mi hijo.
Julia, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family, and thank you for bringing your film to us as well.
No, thank you guys for being open to a weird film like mine.
Your film was amazing.
Oh, thank you. It's unique, and I mean in a good way, but it kind of goes all over the place. It's funny because a lot of people always are like, "What is your film about? What is it?" And I'm like, every time I watch it, it means something new to me. I don't really know what it's about.
I love that you feel that way, because it's so great to watch films where you learn something new each time, and especially as the filmmaker as well.
Yeah.
For those that haven't seen it, summarize like a brief synopsis.
Okay, well, it's basically about, it's set in the late 1700s in Mexico, and it's about a girl who is sold into marriage, and she's taken to this farm in an isolated woods in Mexico with her new husband, and she misses her life. She misses her mom. She obviously didn't want this marriage, and she's really mourning her autonomy. And as she spends more time on this farm, she starts to feel her body wasting and rotting away. And it's kind of a big metaphor of losing her autonomy, and strange things start to happen.
They do.
And eventually she meets a stranger in the woods that makes her an offer if she's willing to give him something in return. So it's kind of a, witchy, devil makes you an offer for your soul type of movie.
I mean, it's a brilliant story, and it's powerful. It's powerful to watch, and you had some brilliant actors. I mean, she led the line so incredibly well, but there was just so much context in there as well, because I mean, as much as obviously it's got this, kind of surrealism, fantasy, witch kind of aspect to it, this is also a resemblance of like what was real life. You know, with this does happen in different countries, different communities. Where was that moment for you though, Julia, where you're like, this inspiration for the story? When was that kind of light bulb where you're like, I've got to turn this into a film?
Well, yeah, it was kind of a slow process. Every film that I make is deeply personal, and I need to be able to connect to the characters I write. They're usually based off of a woman in my family. I come from a long line of very resilient women that the reason I'm even here today being able to do this is because of their sacrifices. I'm the first woman in my family that's done anything like this, so it's a huge honor. So, I came across, my mix is Mexican and Romani, and there's a folk tale called The Devil's Plot, and I've always loved it. It's very, just a typical, enchanted woods. When you go into the enchanted woods, you discover things that you deeply want, and then a devil appears. And in the folk tale, it's a man, which is cool, but I thought, God, it'd be really fun to to put this story and shine, a woman's lens through it and see, what do women want? Because our wants are different, especially a woman who has lost her freedom.
Yeah.
So, I decided to take the folk story and blend it with my, the true story of my aunt who was sold into marriage, and how she had a very difficult life to follow. So, it was an interesting way for me to explore a personal story, but make it, different, not just another typical drama, which is what I typically do. But,
Well, Thirsty, thank you for bringing something so personal to your family to light in this context. And I love that you took a new take on this folk story as well, and made it your own. This was, it was a hard to watch, because, you felt so much for her and her experience, and being so isolated and alone like that must have been devastating. But your characters you created were amazing, but also your actors, my goodness. Like, tell us a little bit about how that journey arose, the whole casting process.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't study directors and their casting process, so I don't know if mine is super unique. But I definitely don't have a traditional one, in the sense of course, I need to know that you can act. I watch a reel, and I usually know within a few seconds if this person, not even if they're good or bad. I don't know if that's a real. I think actually, I think anybody could be a good actor.
Spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a matter of do they have. I hate to say it, but do they have the look? Do they have? Can they fill out what I'm going for in this character? So that's like kind of the first thing. And so I got kind of a wave of submissions. I filmed it in Mexico, so
Whereabouts?
in Mexico City, about like an hour outside of Mexico City.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I worked with some incredible producers that had also made a number of phenomenal films that have actually, many of which have played here with new filmmakers. And they basically put out, and a lot of submissions came in. And I did that first thing. But really the major part of my process is really the callbacks, because it's not, we don't really act. I sit down and I talk with them. I ask them who they are, where they come from, what do they like about the story, what scares them about the story, you know, and typically I can get a sense of who they are as people, and if they can bring a unique perspective to the character through their lived experience. I know that's controversial. There's a lot of people that say that, you know, you shouldn't need to bring your personal life into a character. Of course, that you don't have to, but I find that it works really well.
I love your process. I love that as well, and I think you're so right about just how you find the people and how they connect with the story, and asking those important questions as well. Now you shot this just as hour outside of Mexico City. It looked a beautiful look, like I mean, the outdoor. How was that experience? It looked like it's stunning, even though the story was not easy to watch.
It was intense. Like it was very intense. This was the most involved film I've ever made. You would have thought it was a feature. I spent 6 months scouting all of Mexico. I saw some of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. I was very very particular about what I was looking for. We ended up having to build that cabin. So that cabin, we built it because I was so picky. I was like, I want it to be like enclosed with trees. Yeah. And, you know, Mexico's full of small, you know, villages and cabins in the middle of the woods, but they just didn't have that essence that I wanted. So one of our producers actually grew up nearby this beautiful valley, and he took us there, and I said, this is the spot. Amazing. It's like, and so we worked with the local community there. It was amazing. They brought such amazing energy, and they were so excited to have a film, you know, filming in their community. So it was great. It was hard though. There was no electricity. There was no cell service. Wow. There was no paved roads. So we had to like lug out a huge generator. Yeah. And it was spooky too. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh really? Okay, that we'll have the documentary or the next film. The spooky behind the film. Well, I mean, honestly, it looked like a magical place as well.
It was.
It really was. How? So you know, I mean, goodness me, there's such a journey gone in making this film, and but how has the experience been sharing this film? Like, it was so great to have you yesterday. Your film in as part of our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, our Latinx filmmakers from all over the world. Yeah. How was that experience sharing your film, The Devil's Pot, with us and everything?
Well, you know, like I said, every time I see it on the big screen, it's a different experience, you know. And last night was, for some reason, I was a lot more nervous, you know. I don't know why. Maybe because it was focused on Latina films, and, you know, I have such huge respect for this community, that I was just in awe of all the films that showed. They were such unique voices. They were so personal. They all had their own flair and voice. So I try not to compare, but I was scared. I was like, wow, these are, especially because, you know, we had spent the week together, and hearing, you know, what they're doing, their passions, it was just deeply inspiring. So I was both nervous and excited to share the room with such talent. But
you're part of the talent. Don't forget, Julie. Yeah.
Oh no, thank you. Well, I really appreciate it. No, it was a beautiful experience, and I'm really grateful to be a part of it all.
Yeah. Well, we're so fortunate to have you. And I love this you know, magical world that you took us into. But you know, you partnered this with a personal, and then gave us this very, you know, unique world and experience. Where are you taking us next year? What's the next project? Where are we going?
Well, I just wrapped another film that I filmed in New York, and we're in post on that. It's really exciting. I'm very excited about this film. So there's that. And then aside from that, I'm actually working a lot in TV right now, developing different shows, one of which is loosely based off of the Romani culture that you kind of get a taste of in this film, but you know, doesn't truly explore the customs and traditions. So yeah, I'm just working on that, really.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm excited.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, keep making more projects and stories and movies for us. And thank you so much for bringing The Devil's Plot. And we're looking forward to the next world that you take us in. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
you
you,
so
Julia,
much.
everybody.
Thank you.